Alright, we are live, and the Demon Hunter talent trees for Dragonflight have just come out, and let's go over them. You ready, Alex?
Alright, let's take a look.
Alright, so we're pulling this up on stream here as well. I've got it on my screen. So row 1, we've got Vengeful Retreat. Looks like it's the same Vengeful Retreat as what we have already.
Yeah.
Master of the Glaive, which makes throw Glaive have 1 additional charge. So that's the same
Oh,
talent.
they're giving Havoc Sigil of Flame.
Yep, Sigil of the Flame. So that should be interesting because it is a little bit more damage. It's Sigil of the Flame doesn't really do that much damage as far as in Vengeance. This doesn't look like it's gonna do much damage either, but
Yeah.
it's there's some more stuff that they add on to it that'll make it worth using though. Once you get down the talent tree, probably. All right, so row 2, Unrestrained Fury increases maximum
Max
fury by
damage.
10. Awesome. Bouncing glaives, throw glaive ricochets to 1 additional target. I don't really
I'm hoping
see.
there's something down the line that's like bloodlet
Yeah, I
with
was
the
gonna
bleed.
say
That'd be
because
cool.
otherwise I don't like. Cause throw glaive, I just use it when I'm out of range and there's nothing else to hit. That's
Yeah.
it. It's not really something I use often.
Yeah.
For tanking, I'm sure we're gonna have this too. Shattered Restoration, the healing of Shattered Souls is increased by 5%. Sure, that'll probably be part of the Vengeance tree too, so that'll be
Yeah.
definitely usable.
Well, this is the class tree, so this is all three. This is
Yes,
both specs, right? So
I think so. Yeah.
this
So
is Demon Hunter class Dragonflight talent.
yes, yeah. So Vengeful Restraint, Vengeful
Havoc
Retreat
talent.
makes Vengeful Retreat reduce movement speed by of all nearby enemies by 70% for 3 seconds. So that's normal. That's something I've seen before.
Disrupt is good for PvP.
Yes,
And
yes, that is very good for PvP.
has its place in Mythic for sure.
Then it'd be good if they still have necrotic. It's great for necrotic. um, uh,
Yeah.
so disrupt is just the standard interrupt, but this talent makes it increase the range to 10 yards, which is what it already is. So it's just one of the abilities getting wrapped into there.
Yeah.
Imprison, so that's going to be a talent now. Imprison will be, which is a little odd, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Consume magic. I think a lot of their CC stuff they've been turning those into talents, which I get because like you're gonna need talents, but also I feel like CC stuff shouldn't have to spend a talent point to get your CC. I don't know. I have mixed feelings as whether or not stuff like Imprison or Paralysis should be a talent-based choice. Because
Right.
it's kind of a non-optional thing for a lot of keys and stuff. Anyway, Night Moving On, Consume Magic gives you the Dispel. Flames of Fury. So this is one I noticed earlier when I was quickly skimming it before you said to wait. This is where I got to, was this one. Row 3, Flames of Fury. So when you use your Sigil of Flame, it generates 2 additional Fury per target hit. So that's not only will that do a little bit of damage, but it also will get some Furies.
Give some Fury.
Yeah, Fury builder. So that could be good.
We got first.
Especially, I don't see Sigil of Flames. It does not look like it has a target cap, so that could be big. If it doesn't have any kind of a target cap, that could be big. Because you could,
Yeah.
theoretically pull a couple of packs and then pop that, and there's, hit 10 mobs at once.
Yeah.
That'd make that pretty strong for a Mythic Plus,
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah. So row 4 get Pursuit, and I don't think that you should have to spec into getting mastery for movement speed like how it is right now.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't
That's
know if I
weird.
agree with that.
Yeah, that's weird.
Disrupting Fury, Disrupt Generous. Oh, that's pretty good for both Mythic Plus and PvP. Not
Yep.
so much raids
Yep.
though. I highly doubt.
Now,
There's not a lot of kickable stuff in raids.
and so like that there, um, I don't mind what they're doing with the disrupt talents. Having one talent where it increases the range of it, having another talent where
Yeah.
it generates a fury. I don't mind that. Now,
Neither do I.
if they made disrupt a talent, I don't like that. Again, CC
Yeah.
stuff should be built in. If it's part of your CC abilities for a class, Like, I swear if I see Chaos Nova as a talent on here somewhere, that's not good. Alright.
Bet you it's gonna come to Havoc Tree. I'm
Alright.
just gonna call it right now.
Right.
Alright.
Alright.
Aura of Pain. Critical strike down immolation from at 5%.
Okay.
How do you feel about that? It's
Oh.
like that's decent. If you're hitting
Mm-hmm.
like a ton of stuff with your immolate.
Mm-hmm. No, I like that one. Especially because right now, and again, we'll see what the build changes with, but right now, as a Vengeance DH, my top damaging ability outside of Spirit Bomb,
Is immolation aura.
it is like
Yeah.
my top 3 are usually in some combination, Spirit Bomb, Immolation Aura, and the Elysian Decree. So like that actually is a really good one if Immolation Aura is still as strong as it is. Now, what makes Immolation strong right now is the
No
Soulbind
cap.
Conduit. It's a Soulbind Conduit.
Oh, right.
So that's what I'm going to be looking for is that conduit going to be turned into some kind of a talent? Because if not, because what that conduit does, I believe, is it increases the damage of your Immolation Aura every time that it ticks. So the longer it's going off for, the more damage you do.
Yeah.
So again, if that's not going to be part of it, that critical strike chance is still going to be good, but it's not going to be as strong as it could be if we don't have the other ability baked in somewhere as well.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
next one.
Consume magic. 20 fury when you successfully purge the target. Yeah.
Yep. So it's the same as the disrupting fury talent. Same thing, just
Yeah.
giving you that fury generation. So that's
Ooh,
good.
charred warblades. You like
Yeah,
that
I
one?
like that one. I do like that one. As a tank, that's going to be great.
Yeah.
And even as Havoc and Mythic Plus, where you do need to make sure you're using defenses and everything, that's going to be good for Havoc, possibly for Mythic Plus.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I haven't messed with any of the talent calculators. I don't know how your options here work. Like, do you pick one thing from each row? Do you pick X amount? Do you pick as many as you want? I don't know how that works.
The problem we have right now looking at this is we can't see what leads to what.
Yes, they said they're working on their talent calculator. So that'll probably, I bet you the talent calculator will probably be up by the end of the night.
Or yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how their talent spending works. I haven't looked at any of it. Because like if I got to pick between one of those 5 in row 4, then as a Havoc, I'm not picking Charred Warblades because
Oh
I'd rather
my
have the Aura of
goodness.
Pain.
So I skimmed ahead at row 5 and saw Rush of Chaos, and I'm pretty hyped for that.
All right, so you go ahead and start us off for row 5. Get us all those.
Alright, yeah, so Felfire Haste is the Infernal Strike increasing the movement speed, which is interesting because
I love it.
Havoc doesn't have Infernal Strike.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what I was just thinking that too. That looks like it's gonna we're gonna get Infernal Strike unless maybe it's gonna be Infernal Strike or Fel Rush, whichever one you are. But yeah, no, if Havoc gets Infernal Strike, let me tell you, Infernal Strike is a fantastic ability for like questing and stuff, especially before you can get flying. Because Infernal Strike is just like the Warrior's Leap, Heroic Leap, and that can help you get onto stuff that's difficult to get without flying. Kind of like with the Warlock Gates. I mean, you saw us doing a lot of that whenever we started Zereth Mortis and we're going around getting the treasures before flying.
Yeah,
If Havoc gets Infernal Strike, that's gonna be nice because up until then I had to continuously switch talents over, switch my spec from tank to Havoc. So that could be really nice just for a questing and quality of life type deal.
Yeah. All right. So ability cuts is just a snare and you throw glaive. Like
So
how it is live.
Yep, so that is going to be really good for, again, weeks like Necrotic, or even if they still have Spiteful. Spiteful, that's really good.
Yeah.
Get some charge, so those kind of weeks where you have the ads that chase you, or the Necrotic where your tank has to kite, all of the talents that they've got that we've seen so far for Throw Glaive, where it's slows down the enemies, hits more enemies, gives you more charges. Those are talents that would be good to take on, like I said, Spiteful Weeks and Necrotic Weeks, just to slow the enemies down, make it a little bit easier. So they're niche talents because you're not gonna need those 80% of the time. Um,
Yeah.
but it is good to have those options. All right, so tell me
All
about
right.
Rush of Chaos.
Rush of Chaos. Reduce the cooldown of Metamorphosis by 60 seconds.
That is nice.
That's
That
a
is
3-minute
nice.
meta now. I basically took the legendary
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just give you a
That's
flat out 60 seconds, which is
well.
really nice.
Now, I will say, I think meta is originally a 5-minute cooldown. Let
I thought it was
me.
reduced to Forest expansion.
Well, so I'm gonna check. Hang on, let me check on live, because I want to say that it's originally a 5-minute cooldown and it gets reduced by 1 minute by one of the abilities that you get, but I could be wrong on that. But let me jump on the DH here, pull it up. But either way, like that's I'm hoping that that is going to reduce it from 4 minutes to 3 minutes because that would be fantastic. Because I will say, meta is a fantastic ability, but gee whiz, find me one other spec that has their
A 4-minute.
their primary offensive cooldown is a 4-minute cooldown. I
Yeah.
don't like the only other thing that I can think that's even longer than 3 minutes is the Death Knight Army of the Dead. But even then, like you still as a Death Knight, you've got other offensive cooldowns.
Yeah.
THs only have meta. Like we
Yeah.
literally do not have other offensive cooldowns.
Yeah. All
And
right.
that's
Um. Yeah. Go on.
let
Finish
me
your thing.
see here. I'm switching over to okay, so yes, meta is a 5-minute cooldown. And then we get Havoc. It's a passive ability. Or no, it's the rank. It's the rank 2 version of it, or whatever is what it is.
Um.
So it's a 5-minute cooldown originally. Now, so that's going to be my question. We won't really know until we see all the Demon Hunter originally, abilities or get into beta or something. Because yeah, that's my question now. Is that Rush of Chaos? Is that after they've already got the rank 2 of Metamorphosis, or is that just them taking that rank 2 and making it a talent? Because if they're just making it a talent and that's just going to reduce it to 4 minutes, that's kind of lame.
All right.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I'm gonna finish row 5 real quick.
All right.
All right. We got concentrated sigils, which is increasing their like effects by 2 seconds, which is a tank thing, I'm sure.
Yep. So that's already a tank talent.
Yeah.
It's not
This one's kind of
used too often.
right.
Uh,
This is
oh, okay. Yeah, precise sigils.
precise sigils. That seems pretty cool. Like
That's new. Yeah, that is new. That's not something
yeah.
we've had before. So our sigil talents for tanking, you've got your sigil of chains, which was big last expansion, but now this expansion no one uses it. um,
Right.
I mean, you get a few here and there. It's got its moments when it would be useful. Like Sanguine Weeks, I probably should use it on Sanguine Weeks. But concentrated sigils is already there. It looks like that's the same effect. Uh, but then the other one is Quicken Sigils, and Quicken Sigils. So the way that sigils work for Demon Hunters by default is that you drop the sigil, and then it sits for 2 seconds, and then it goes off after 2 seconds. Quicken Sigils reduces that to 1 second, and it also reduces the cooldown on your sigils by I think 33%. I think, so which is big. That's why everyone's using it because it works well with the Elysian Decree because that counts as a sigil, so it reduces the cooldown on that. So that's why Quicken Sigils is a big one. But yeah, Precise Sigils is new. That definitely is interesting, and I like that they're pairing it with Concentrated Sigils to where you choose
Yeah.
one or the other. I like that because that makes sense because have it mark on you, which is great as a tank, Or if you're Havoc, having it go at the target's location. I mean, that could be good either way. Because so one of the things that we do as a Vengeance tank is we'll toss our Sigil of Flames, over at a mob that we're gonna pull while we're pulling another pack, a second pack. Um,
Yeah.
so precise sigils could be good for that. Now, the one thing I'll say is that with cursor macros, eh, it kind of takes away the value of precise sigils or concentrated sigils, because with the cursor macro, you can just cast your sigil wherever your mouse is at. So again,
Yeah.
that's why concentrated sigils isn't really used any right now at all. But go on with
Alright.
the last one.
I'll finish row 5 real quick. Lost in Darkness. It's more of a PvP one, in my opinion. It's a spectral sight lasting 6 seconds after it being disrupted by attacking or taking damage.
Mm-hmm.
So, the problem with PvP right now with spectral sight is when you use it, someone from range just hits you, like a healer hits you or a hunter hits you, and you lose it, and they're stealthy good to go. But this allows you to put it on and dive into their team and have a chance of still getting that stealthy. So it's definitely a PvP talent. I don't see it being used in PvE because there's really no point for PvE.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you might have just the occasional time when it's worthwhile in PvE.
Yeah.
Like if you have a mechanic, which granted,
Like Vault
actually,
of the Warden.
yeah, Vault of the Warden would be a one like that, but which you know, we were talking about dungeons that they're going to be bringing back for this, and I said Vault of the Warden I think is going to be one. Huh, maybe that talent's there for Vault of the Warden.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, definitely I agree. PvP is going to benefit from that for Demon Hunters.
All right, you take row 6.
All right. We got Illidari Knowledge, which reduces magic damage taken by 2%. It looks like more of a tanking style one, but again, Mythic Plus could use it as well for Havoc. A little more survivability if needed. Soul
Yeah.
Rending. We have
Ah, I see it's nerfed. Already's nerfed.
Leech increased by 5%, gain an additional 10% Leech when Metamorphosis is active. Now, let me.
It was 10 to 20 on live.
Yep. I don't like that nerf. Now,
Do
granted,
I?
maybe we haven't gotten to the Havoc talents, so maybe Havoc has something in there that'll boost that. I don't know. Um, yeah, it's one of the nice things about DH is their survivability.
Oh, that's
All right, so
yeah. Good. Sorry.
Felblade, charge to the target and deals 66% of attack power and fire damage, and Demon's Bite has a chance to reset the cooldown of Felblade. So you can get Demon's
I
Bite
like
and
that.
Felblade.
And Felblade. That's interesting. Yeah. So now you have
Yep.
a gap closer other than using dash. Because there's
Mm-hmm.
some fights if you dash, you might fall off the edge of a map. You know.
Yep.
You
No,
can just use Felblade.
yep. I don't mind that. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Another Fury charging
mhm.
ability is nice.
All right, Infernal Armor. Immolation Aura increases your armor by 10% and causes melee attackers to suffer 5% of attack power fire damage. So
Oh, that's
that's already a tanking one. It's not really used too much, but nice
right.
little passive. It could have its moment. Again, it also could be. Well, it won't really help Havoc out in Mythic Plus. It'd help him in solo content, maybe a little bit in PvP. It's not huge. Um, And then the last
Yeah.
one for row 6 is Will of the Illidari, which increases your maximum health by 2%.
I think
Eh.
that's gonna be upgraded. I think or buffed because that's pretty low. Like 2% is
Yeah, it
nothing.
seems a little low.
And
I would think
and
5% would make more sense, but
I think the Illidari Knowledge should be buffed as well. They reduce magic damage by 2%. I think 2 is really low. I think 5 should be the minimum.
all right. Well, I'm gonna let you go take row 7 because I already saw that first ability and now I'm mad.
Yeah, Chaos would only having a 2-second stun. Is that what you're mad about?
Well, the fact that it's a talent.
Oh right, yeah. And
uh,
it's a 2-second stun. It's really underwhelming.
yeah. Now I will say, I think I could be wrong. I think that's actually an upgrade because I think right now. Oh no, it is a 2-second stun. Yeah, no, it's okay. I was thinking it was still 1 second stun. Yeah, no, Chaos Nova has always been like it's nice, but it's not meant to really be like a good CC. It's just meant to stop casting, like the hard casting that you have to use hard CC. That's really all it's there for.
Yeah.
Because I think leg sweep is what 4 seconds.
Yes.
And then I think
Oh, it's at it's 3 seconds.
most
Leg sweep's 3.
okay. I was gonna say most stuns are at least 3 or 4 seconds. The
Yeah.
single target ones are good. Now, granted, we'll have to see if we get Fel Interruption or Fel Eruption, because that's kind of their single target stun. I'm sure that'll be a talent somewhere. So, all right,
All
next.
right. So we got a choice here. We had demonic and demonic origins. I beam causes you to enter demon form for 6 seconds after a finished dealing damage. I'm
Ooh,
I'm curious about this because
ooh.
does that mean if you get kicked or interrupted in mid I beam, it won't turn into demon, or do you have to get the full 6 second or the full channel before you get it?
No. So yeah, when you I beam, it's you're gonna get 6 seconds as soon as you finish dealing damage. So even if you interrupt your I beam cast, that's when the
Okay.
timer is gonna start.
Okay. All right. Then we have demonic origins. Equivalent metamorphosis reduced by 2 minutes, and the duration reduced by 10 seconds.
Okay, so
So
that this is interesting.
technically,
Now, one, you have
can
to
we get a 2 minute
choose.
cooldown?
So you have to choose between demonic and demonic origins. Now, demonic origins is a PvP talent for already
Yep.
for or demon hunter.
Yeah.
I use it for my speed runs because it's fantastic to have metamorphosis on a 2 to 3 minute cooldown depending on what level you are. Um,
Mhm.
so at max level, this, especially if you can combine it with the other one, this should make meta a 2 minute cooldown, but it only lasts for 20 seconds. But that kind of keeps it in line with most other cooldowns.
But yeah, trinkets and racial and stuff
Hang
like
on, let me
that.
do math real quick. 4 minutes would be 40 seconds. Let's see, where would it match up at? So let's say 6 minutes would be 60 seconds. Okay, yeah, so it's so really it I think your decision is to so there's two factors here. Um, using demonic origins versus regular meta. Uh,
Yeah.
over a 6 minute period, you're going to have the same uptime on your metamorphosis through the actual cooldown, which is great, you know, to have it available. So it depends on the fight. You know, if it's a fight where, okay, let's say it's a 2 phase fight and you're going to bounce back and forth between phases, and each phase lasts a couple of minutes, and you want one phase is when everyone needs to pop their CDs. Well, then using Demonic Origins might be good for that because you'll have it available at that point in time. Now, let's
Yeah.
say it's another raid boss or whatever, and really doesn't matter when you pop it, or maybe there's only one point near the end that you need to pop it, then it doesn't matter if it's a 3 minute cooldown because you'll have it up. You know, you're only going to use it once or twice, and you just want all your damage during that time. Um, I think it's going to be better for Mythic Plus. Demonic Origins, I feel like would be better for Mythic
Yeah.
Plus,
I think
but
so too.
and I feel like not using it would be better for Raid. However, the second factor there that I think is going to be difficult for people to choose demonic origins is the fact that you're choosing between demonic origins or demonic. Now I like having the choice,
Yep.
but the question is because over a extended period of time, there's no difference in uptime from demonic, or there's no difference in uptime of metamorphosis from demonic origins to just not having it. So if you then are trading out demonic origins for demonic, well, now you're actually adding more uptime to metamorphosis. So for stuff like
Yeah.
Mythic Plus, while the cooldown might be nice, you're gonna actually have more uptime in metamorphosis form by using demonic instead of demonic origins. Um, because let's say so I-beam's a 30-second cooldown, right? So let's say over a 6 minute period, if you're using demonic origins, you have 1 minute of uptime on metamorphosis over 6 minutes. Now, the regular
Yeah.
Metamorphosis, if you have the other talent to knock it down to a 3-minute cooldown, now granted, if that talent only knocks it down to a 4-minute cooldown, then Demonic Origins will give you more uptime. But if it knocks it down to a 3-minute cooldown, like the legendary does, or like like the legendary does, or the tier set's what does that. So if it knocks it down to about 3 minutes, kind of like the tier set does, then there's really no difference between Demonic Origins or not having it, and default choice should just be Demonic at that point, because you're gonna have 1 minute of uptime for both Demonic Origins or regular meta. But if you have regular meta and Demonic, then you're adding every 30 seconds. You're going to have 6 seconds, which means 12 for every minute, which means another 70 seconds of Metamorphosis. So you're going to double your meta uptime by using Demonic instead of Demonic Origins.
Yeah.
So that makes me think that most likely the other talent that reduces by a minute is only going to knock it down to 4 minutes, because that's the only way you're going to get more uptime out of Demonic Origins, which is a little bit of a bummer, but
Yeah. All right, so I'll finish row 7 real quick.
all right.
We got Sigil of Misery. That's the Fear Sigil, and which is kind of interesting because tanks have that already, right?
Yes.
Just name something else, right?
Yep, yeah, Sigil of Misery, that's one of ours, so that's good.
So
It's a nice
it might,
that
it
actually is
might,
really good because it works kind of like Chaos Nova. It doesn't work on everything. Like Chaos Nova works on pretty much everything other than bosses. Um,
I'm just thinking
Sigil of Misery, because it's a fear, there are some enemies that are immune to fear, but it's still a very good one. Also, what it's good for is, let's say there's a pat that's moving around patrolling, and you need them to stay put. As long as everything in that pat is susceptible to fear, you can throw that Sigil of Misery at them, hit all of them, and they're stuck in place for 20 seconds, which you can use that to skip around pats. You can use that to, if you're fighting one pack and you don't want to pull that pat, you can stop them and halt them with that. You do have to be careful, though, because like I said, there's some enemies that are immune to fear.
yeah. Um, I'm just curious if this is gonna be for DPS as well.
Well, I mean, it's in the straight up Demon Hunter one, so it's gonna be an option for Havoc as well. It looks like.
Yeah, cause I'm seeing lots of sigils in the talent tree.
Yeah, no, I think it sounds like they're so, and it what I'm seeing is it looks like they are making all the CC stuff outside of an interrupt. All your CC is going to be talents, but they're giving you the options of the CC from multiple specs. So like you could theoretically, even though now you have to spend talents on it, let's say you need lots of CC, you could have Chaos Nova, Sigil of Misery, you could have your Imprison, all that stuff. Like you can have both the CC. I'm curious if we're gonna see Sigil of Silence or well, I guess Sigil of Silence and Sigil of Misery are the two that they have. So I'm curious if Sigil of Silence is going to be down here somewhere as well. Because let me tell
Yeah.
you, Sigil of Silence is amazing. If Havoc gets Sigil of Silence, having an AoE silence is excellent. Right now, I think there's only 2 classes in the game that have AoE silence, and that's Vengeance Demon Hunter and Balance Druids.
Oh, true. Yeah.
I don't think anyone else
Yeah,
has that.
that'd be really cool. Yeah, hit us up with row 8 now.
All right. So we have a choice for the first one between Chaos Fragments and Unleash Power, which looks like they both are Chaos Nova related. So Chaos Fragments, which this is a nice one for survivability. Each enemy
Yeah.
that's stunned by your Chaos Nova has a 30% chance to generate a Lesser Soul Fragment. Excellent when you're in a pinch. I used it all the time for speed running. It's really, you would be surprised at how helpful that is for speedrunning. Um, Unleashed Power is the other option. Reduces the fury cost of Chaos Nova by 50% and its cooldown by 20%. So I would say Unleashed Power is where most people would go with that if you're going to choose, because The generate soul fragments, it's whatever. But if you're Havoc, now as a tank, as a tank, if we get Chaos Nova, oh, that's nice. Having Chaos Nova would be really nice as a tank. But having Chaos Nova and Chaos Fragments could be interesting, but I still think Unleash Power is going to be the main one to go with there, because reducing the cooldown and the cost is big. Generating Soul Fragments from it, not a big deal, because if you're Havoc, you don't need the Soul Fragments necessarily, because you should have a healer. And if you're a
Yeah.
tank, you're generating Soul Fragments nonstop all the time anyway. So it's not a big deal.
Oh, look at the next one.
Blur, so it's a defensive, your primary
For both
defensive.
tanks and DPS.
It increases your chance to dodge by 50%, which is nice because, boy, let me tell you, as a Vengeance tank, the only reason we are viable is because of how much damage we put out. Because they are squishy and we do not have great defensives. So getting Blur, oh my goodness, that is beautiful to see as a tank. That is, having that option is excellent. I really I really want to try that out and see what that looks like. Darkness, again, getting that as a tank, huge.
Yeah.
That's going to be huge. Everyone knows what darkness is. Gives you the 20% chance to avoid damage. Great for raid buffs. Big damage going on in everybody. Excellent. And there it is, Sigil of Silence. So it's like I was saying, Sigil of Silence. So if you get that as Havoc, again, that's going to be really, really big. Because that mass silence it really is very, very nice to have. Improves Sigil of Misery, reduces the cooldown of Sigil of Misery by 90 seconds.
I'm assuming it's a 3-minute, so that moves it to
no, what? Sigil of Misery is normally I think a 2-minute cooldown.
Well, I'm thinking maybe it's gonna be increased.
Yeah, it very well could be.
To like a minute or a minute and a half cooldown or something.
Let me swap real quick. So without Quicken Sigils, Sigil of Misery is a 1.5-minute cooldown. So yeah, they must be making that a much longer cooldown, because they're not gonna make it a 0-second cooldown.
Or they're just putting 90 seconds for now and they're gonna lower it.
Yeah, I would expect that talent. See, that talent really should be, in my opinion, like reduce it by 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And like I said, unless they do like you said, it's going to be like a 2-minute cooldown or 3-minute cooldown. We'll have to see what their abilities look like when they pop them out. And then the last one for row 8 is Misery and Defeat. Enemies affected by Sigil of Misery take additional 10 damage. That's interesting. So how does that work then? Because Sigil of Misery would just be the first time that you damage them, they take the damage? Because they...
Until it breaks, yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's interesting. Alright, take on row 9 for us.
Alright. Oh yeah, Demonic Appetite. Chaos Strike has a chance to spawn a lesser soul fragment. Consuming any soul fragment grants 15 fury. That's just meh. It's whatever. Alright, we don't have a choice.
So that's a pretty good. It's the same talent as what's in the row 1 or row 2 talent, I think.
Oh.
No, row 1 talent.
Yeah, row 1. Yeah. Alright, now we got a choice between Long Night, increasing the duration of darkness by 2 seconds, or Pitch Black, reducing the cooldown of darkness by a minute, or 120 seconds with 2 minutes. Darkness on Liver now is a 3-minute cooldown. Yeah, darkness is a 3-minute cooldown. I thought it was make it.
Yeah, that's a big decrease.
We'll make it 1 minute. Yeah, you have like every pull. I think it's kind of nuts. The one I knew is being put in because I saw people data mined it. The Hunt, because tanks get it too. That's really cool.
Well, yeah, we had it if we went Night Fae.
Oh right, yeah. Charge your target striking them for 455% of attack power, nature damage. See, I thought it was fire damage, but nature damage makes more sense.
Yeah.
Rooting them in place for a minute, 1.5 seconds, and inflicting 227% attack power and nature damage for 6 seconds up to 5 enemies in your path. The pursuit invigorates your soul, healing you for 20% of the damage you deal to your hunt target for 30 seconds. I really like that. I really like the hunt ability.
Yeah, as far as tanking goes, obviously I would prefer to see Elysian Decree, but I know the hunt was
Right.
really popular, and I don't think we're
Yeah.
gonna get Elysian Decree. So I don't see them
Well,
making
the
every Covenant ability a talent option. And the hunt was still pretty good.
to
So
be to be fair, other classes have gone 2 to 3 of their legendaries or covenant abilities in their trees.
hmm.
So there's a good chance that you might get it in your tank tree at the very bottom. I think there's
Yeah,
a good
it's
chance.
that is true. Yeah, because no, it was. I mean, oh, it's and it's granted it's not going to be as great without all the soulbind condoms and stuff, but it's still a really strong one. But no, the
Yeah,
hunt is very fun.
yeah,
Um, it because I've used it as a Havoc Demon Hunter, and it is a lot of fun. I like it, and it does do a lot of damage. So that's a great ability to have. I like that. That's going to be an option.
it's a good way to start off with a fight for you. Gotta get 5 people, get the dawn on them, building up threat, doing a lot of damage.
For sure, for sure.
Alright, so we got Demon Muzzle. Enemies deal 8% reduced magic damage to you for 8 seconds as being inflicted by one of your sigils. I think I don't know how that'll play. I think it sounds decent. Damage reduction is always nice.
Yeah. So yeah, reduce damage after for 8 seconds after being inflicted with one of the sigils. So it's kind of like a little magic, um, magical defensive whenever you use a sigil, which you use the sigils quite a bit. So it's interesting. I don't. I mean, I don't see anybody havoc wise using it, but I could see it having its usefulness as a demon as a vengeance tank. The only thing that makes me kind of wonder is right now we just kind of naturally have that reduced magic buff, reduced magic damage buff built in. So, and that's one of the things that makes demon hunters good tanks is we have way more defense against magic than any other class, other
Yeah,
than maybe DK, just because of DK having anti magic zone. Um,
and AMS and AMC.
yes, yeah. Um, but yeah, no. So having that as a talent, I mean, it looks like most of the abilities are turning into talents basically, which is fine.
Yeah,
Again, I need to see what the actual talent tree looks like and how you make your choices and how they're all connected and everything before I
yeah,
can really get a good feel. Because I need to
yeah,
know what is it that we have to choose between. I don't know exactly how it's going to work. Like, am I choosing between the hunt or extended sigils? Because if I'm or demon muzzle? Because if I'm choosing between the hunt or demon muzzle, as havoc, you're obviously going to choose the hunt. Um, but I don't know. I don't know how all the trees are laid out. Like I said, I haven't looked at any of the actual talent trees yet.
yeah. Alright, so last one, extended sigils increase the duration of your sigil effects by 1 second. That's
So
kind of nice for the silence,
yes, that is
fear,
excellent for the silence. The fear doesn't really make a big difference.
because
Just
it breaks
because
anyways.
well, and it's a 20 second. It already lasts for 20 seconds. So what's
Yeah,
the
true.
20 to
21's not gonna
21 is not a
change
big
it.
deal, and it's gonna break on
Yeah,
on damage. But the sigil of silence and the sigil of flame, both those you get an extra second on the dot. That's nice. Um, and if you have this
right.
demon muzzle, I'm guessing that demon muzzle would also be extended by a second, perhaps.
Alright, give me 1 second. Take my heads off. Put on a sweater.
hmm
Okay, I'm back.
All right, so
So you think row 10.
All right, so row 10, the final row for the baseline talents, it looks like. Desperate Instincts. Blur now reduces damage taken by additional 10%.
Oh,
And
that's so
additionally,
awesome.
you automatically trigger Blur with a 50% reduced cooldown and duration when you fall below 35% health. This effect can only occur when Blur is not on cooldown. Now, I feel like is that kind of one of the ones that you guys do? So for PvP, do you use Desperate Instincts or do you use uh
Netherrock.
oh, you use Netherwalk? Okay,
Because the blur is just, they just don't run blur. You run Netherwalk or Soul Rending. You don't take Desperate Instincts at all. That's just
interesting.
because, like, what you have to pick between, there's just better options.
Okay, yeah, I
So
didn't know
having
if
it as an option is definitely going to be really nice.
yeah, for sure. And then all right, so then the next one is you have a choice between Unnatural Malice, which increases the dot from the hunt by 30%.
That's
That's
really good
that's
for Mythic
nice.
Plus.
Or Fey and Powdered Elixir, which the cooldown of the hunt is reduced by 12 seconds whenever an enemy is killed while afflicted by its damage over time effect.
There
So,
goes your boosting. I mean,
so
your speed running
I was gonna say that there for speedrun.
will be nuts.
Yeah, that.
So how much?
Ooh,
How
that makes
much?
me excited for speedruns. I don't see that really
Do the
being.
math quick.
I mean, so normally in a speed run, I'm gonna try to get 3 or 4 mobs.
If
I'm
you
gonna
get three
grab
or
as
four,
many
if
as I can,
you
but I'm gonna say 3 or 4 mobs. So let's say I get 5. Let's say I get 4 mobs because it's the problem with speed running and getting large packs is that because stuff is so spread out. Usually anything more than 4. Once you grab your 5th one, the first one loses the aggro range and just leaves and resets.
yeah, I was looking at
But
the
yeah, so
math
so
for it.
4 is about right. So go ahead.
Yeah, 4 is 48 seconds,
Yep.
and 5 is a minute, and the cooldown's a minute and a half. So if you're hitting 4 or 5 targets
Oh,
every time, you almost have it up every pull.
ah, man, that is that's gonna be really really nice for speed running.
Yeah,
I mean that
yeah.
really is gonna be pretty strong. Because usually there's about 20 to 30 seconds in between pulls in there because you got to gather everything up and then you attack it and then you go to your next spot and gather everything up and attack. So that's you could theoretically have the hunt available on most pulls. Now, problem is it's a row 10 talent and the hunt is a row 9 talent. So what level do you have to get to be able to get to it?
I can find that out right now.
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
I'll
Again,
find it as you keep talking.
I don't know. Have they got the calculator out yet? Yes, they do. They have it available in the Dragonflight calculator. That's what I want to see.
For
Um,
for for Demon Hunters?
yes, they just put it
Can you link
in
it to me?
this. Yeah, it's in Discord and in the news one. Um, do, do, do.
Okay, I see.
There you go. All right,
Um,
so let's see. All right, so let's finish out this talent tree real quick, and then we'll look at the calculator. So the last thing that we have on row 10 is Quicken Sigils, which again, that's what we use right now as tanks. All sigils activate 1 second faster, and their cooldowns are reduced by 20%. Fantastic ability, especially when paired with Elysian Decree. Um, all right, so let's see. Demon Hunter tree. So yeah, your first row we got Vengeful Retreat and Sigil of Flame. So it looks like most of a lot of the tank stuff is over on the right side of the talent tree. And how are we getting our talents again? I don't remember. Is it just 1 point per level?
yeah, so it'll go like um 1 point every 2 levels because every level swaps between class tree and spec tree
Okay, so each tree gets a talent.
every other level. Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. Dragonflight talent calculator. Okay, so Sigil of Flame.
I actually went and saw something in the Demon Havoc Tree that you're gonna really like.
Okay,
I
let's see
changed over and I actually scrolled over it and it's like, oh my goodness.
So what I want to see here, um, so we need that middle section. Uh,
So,
Sigil of Flame. I'm trying to think what would be. Sigil of Flame's gonna actually be good for speedrunning, I think. Possibly good. We don't really need the consume magic or imprison. That's not that big of a deal. Um, Vengeful Retreat can also be interesting. Oh, that's gonna be important. So yeah, we would be going Vengeful Retreat. Wait, is Vengeful Retreat just baked in? Like, it's not giving me an option to even select it. We just automatically have Vengeful Retreat. It looks like.
yeah, that's what you start off with.
Okay,
You expect that stuff after that.
interesting. All right, so yeah, Unrestrained Fury. No, because I was looking at is on here. You're gonna want um, Pursuit. Pursuit is definitely something you're gonna want for speedrunning because that's mastery increases your movement speed. So that's the one time it's actually gonna be worth taking.
Yeah.
But then let's see, Fellfire Haste. Yep, that's gonna be big. But you have to have 8 talents. Okay, so simple enough. Let's do.
Alright, you want to finish this and move on to the Havoc Tree?
Yeah, we can go ahead. All right, so the Havoc Tree. You go ahead and start off.
Alright, you got row 1. And I told you this one as well because it was data mine. Eye Beam. Blasts all targets in front of you for chaos damage over 2 seconds. Deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets instead of 1 target.
Okay, now hold
Because
on
how it
one
is
second.
how it works on live is you pop Eye Beam, it hits their main target for full damage, and then everyone else for less damage. Now you hit 5 targets for full damage and less past that. That's crazy. That's gonna really pump
Well, so
some big
here's
numbers.
here's my question on that. Mm, current I beam. Ooh, 12%. All right, so I'm looking at the numbers here, and it is okay. Yes, so that is going to be huge. Um, I was curious with them doing that. I was curious if they were going to be reducing how much damage it actually just does overall. But it looks, from what I can tell, it looks like it is the exact same percentage of attack power, exact same number. So it's going to do the same damage. So yes, it is. That is a huge buff to I beam.
Massive buff, yeah. Alright. That's all I had row 1,
All right,
because that's the
go
first
ahead and go with
ability.
row 2.
Alright, so we have Trail of Ruin, which is pretty nice. The Final Slash of Blade Dance inflicts additional 58% attack power cast damage over 4 seconds. So looking at the tree, Trail of Ruin, you're basically always going to take it because you want to get improved Chaos Strike. If you look at the talent tree, you see Trail of Ruin build into First Blood and into improved Chaos Strike and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so I think Trail of Ruin is a must because if you look, I know I'm not really following the row, but actually no, I am. I'm in the second row still. The far right one, the Fel Rush, gains additional charge. I think it's really good for your speedrunning as well, and it's
Definitely.
nice. It's nice, but I think you'll be taking Trail of Ruin and Dancing with Fate first before you pick Hot Feet.
No, no. Well, for speed running, um,
I'm talking
move.
about just like,
Yes. Yeah. For sure. For anything else, absolutely yes. For speed running, movement speed and any kind of increase in movement speed abilities are number one priority out of anything. But yeah, no. As far as like doing anything else, Mythic Plus raid, yeah. Hot feet. I'll be honest. I don't know if people even use hot feet. I mean, um, I don't know how popular Hot Feet's going to be for Mythic Plus or raids or anything at all like that.
Yeah, so I'm thinking to go into Trail of Ruin, Dance of the Fate, and build from there.
Yep, I think PvP you may find a spot for it just for the movement,
True.
but that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. So I have left row 2, so we got improved row 3. Oh, wait. No, you're on row 3 now. You're up.
All right, yeah. So yeah. All right, so row 3 we have Tactical Retreat, which is gives Vengeful Retreat a 5-second reduced cooldown. So that should drop it from 25 to 20 seconds. Generates 80 Fury over 10 seconds. So that used to be something that you could get. I don't remember if that was even available anymore or not. Um, but yeah, it's okay. Um, that was one of the that was part of the one of the original builds for Demon Hunters back when Legion came out. It was meh. Improved Chaos Strike for raid. That's probably going to
That's
be a
nice.
that's going to be a must-have for raid. I feel like.
Yeah.
Um, Mythic Plus, Tyrannical Weeks probably. Maybe not so much on fortified weeks. We got First Blood, which again,
Is a
nice,
must.
nice. Yep, that's going to be great for a lot of. That's going to be great no matter what you're doing, really.
And it stacks with Dancing with Fate, too. Dancing with Fate increases the final slash of blade damage by 50%.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't
It's
stack
gonna hit.
with it because what So what First Blood does is it might stack with it. It just does additional damage to the first target that's hit. Now the question is it the first slash or is it just all the damage you do to that target? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dancing with Fate is great for Mythic Plus. Not so much for raid or any kind of single target, but for AOE, Dancing with Fate is really really good. That's one that I probably will pick up for speedruns as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, then improved Fel Rush. Fel Rush damage increased by 25%.
That's really minor.
So I could see potentially grabbing that for speed runs. Um, just so that if I do Fel Rush through enemies, it does some damage. But honestly, that's not how you deal your damage in speed runs, really. Fel Rush is all about the movement for speed runs. Now, again, that could be good for a momentum style build if they have something similar to momentum. That might be, used for that, but we'll see. Then the last one for row 3 is Burning Hatred, which is the same talent we've had. Immolation Aura generates an additional 30 Fury over 6 seconds. Definitely has its possibilities for Mythic Plus,
Yeah.
uh, but not necessarily something for sure that we'll use.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so row 4. We got Critical Chaos. The chance of Chaos Strike will refund 20 fairies increased by 50% of your critical strike chance with both points in there. So just getting that fairy return is all it is.
Nice,
I don't.
nice.
I think on live it's like what, like 40% flat out. Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah. Yeah, live your Chaos Strike is a 40% chance flat out. No, I'm not sure if now Demon Hunters will be prioritizing crit. I don't know. Alright, and then next is more of a PvP one, the Mortal Dance. Reduces the target's healing received by 50%. 50% is a huge number. Very good for PvP.
Yes, yeah, I know Mortal Dance was one of the war mode talents that was really good, really popular.
Yeah. And we got Felfire Heart. Increases the duration of Immolation Aura and Sigil of Flame by 1 second. Up
Hmm.
to 2 seconds if you put both points in it.
So that's interesting. So if you remember the in that ninth row for the basic talent tree, you have the extended sigils that increases the duration of sigil effects by 1 second. One that also has two talents in it, so you could make that 2 seconds. And then if you stack that um, with the Felfire Heart, you could theoretically make your Sigil of Flame last an extra 4 seconds.
Right.
Which that's where most of its damage comes from is that dot. So
Yeah.
that could be good, having it last for 10 seconds. All right, so
Uh,
then the
we
next
got
row was this row
row.
5.
Yep.
Um, we have initiative. So what is this? Damaging an enemy
Well,
before
that's
they
really
damage you
nice.
increases your critical strike chance for 15. Oh, okay. So, and then
Well,
using
read the bottom part too.
using
Yeah.
Vengeful Retreat refreshes your potential to trigger this effect on any enemies you're in combat with. Oh, okay. So
Dude,
this
that's sweet.
this is a conduit ability.
Yeah.
Or not a conduit. It's from the Soul Binds. I believe it's from Corraine, the Night Fae ability. That's what this did, and it was really good. That was one of the most popular builds for Night Fae. Most people went with Corraine specifically for that ability. So that's a nice ability that they're pulling over from the Soulbinds. Um, and then we have Netherwalk, typical Netherwalk that we were used to. Slip into the Nether, increasing movement speed by 100%, and becoming immune to damage, but unable to attack.
There's another walk.
Furious Gaze. When I-Beam finishes fully channeling, your haste is increased by an additional 10% for 12 seconds. Absolute must-have for Mythic Plus.
Yeah.
And probably, honestly, that's pretty much a must-have for
For
whatever.
any
Yeah,
any gameplay. Yeah.
yeah. I don't think there's really a time you're not gonna want that. Fel Eruption. So there's again the other thing that's gonna be Havoc only. So that's interesting that one's going to be a CC that's for Havoc only. I don't mind
Before you
that
go
though.
on, look at Fel Eruption. Look at the talent. I mean, the tooltip. It says 10 Fury or 10 Pain. Maybe it's a little like spoiler that tanks are gonna get it
Right?
as
Yeah,
well.
that sounds like possibly that'll go into the Vengeance tree then. That's good to
Yeah.
know. All right, and then the last one for this row is Insatiable Hunger, which looks
That's
like it's
pretty
pretty
good.
much the same as our current Insatiable Hunger. Demon Bite deals 20% more damage, generates 5 to 10 additional fury. That one's a good one for speed running. However, normally we get that, I think, in the first or second we get that in the second talent tree, second talent row normally. And on this, you're gonna have to be like level 30 before you get it. I don't see it having much place for speed running, because at that point you're not looking for Demon's Bite for doing your damage. um,
Yeah.
but no, it's not bad. It's gonna be good for raiding. Um, Not so much Mythic Plus, I don't think, but it'll be okay. But no, I mean it's gonna have its place for sure. I'm sure there'll be a lot of builds that will be able to utilize it.
Yeah.
All right, take us on to the next row, row 6, I believe.
Yeah. So that Chaos Theory coming back. If you put 2 points into it, Blade Dance causes your next Chaos Strike within 8 seconds of a 20 to 36% increased critical strike chance. So that basically pairs with Critical Chaos, giving that Fury back when it's a crit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's every couple. What's Blade Dance cooldown? 4 or 5 seconds.
I believe it's a 7-second cooldown initially, but I believe your haste reduces that cooldown,
Right. Okay.
so it
We got
varies.
serrated glaive. Enemies hit by throw glaive take 10% increased damage from I-beam. That can go to 2, so 20%.
So that used to be a a big part of the rotation for Havoc Demon Hunters, like back in Legion, I want to say.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing here, it's a good thing to do is, um, if you get bouncing glaives from the demon hunter, just
Yep.
class trees like the
Yep.
second row ricochets out to one additional target,
Yeah, so that should, if you get the 2 talents in that, that should make Glaive Toss hit 5 total targets, I believe.
and then that'll pair with your I-beam really well.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I think it's good. I like that.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right, we got looks can kill. I-beam deals guaranteed critical strikes.
Okay, so
Another just nice one. It's just
yep, it's one of those things that's kind of already built in.
Yeah.
like with currently, so it's kind of annoying that there's a talent that you have to spend on it, but it's still definitely worth it.
Yeah. This whole tree's about I-beam almost. You got Blind Fury. I-beam generates 20 Fury every second, and its duration increased with 25. So you can upgrade that to I-beam generates 40 Fury every second, and its duration increased by 50% for Blind Fury talent. Um, that's just already within the game, right? With that Blind
Yes,
Fury
that's the
talent.
first talent. Yep, and that's a fantastic talent. Um, yeah, that should be that could definitely be really strong. Again, it was really great for speed running, but just looking on its location in the talent tree, I don't know if that'll be one to be used for speed running anymore. Because again,
Yeah,
Blind Fury was a talent you get at level 15 right off the bat. So,
yeah.
which still requires level 15, but I don't know how you get to that with just 15 levels.
All right, so the last one's Unbound Chaos. Activate an Immolation Aura, increase damage and XP for 250%. With 2 points into it, so 500%.
Okay.
That's pretty strong. I'm not trying to spoil or anything, but I actually already saw this. You can get Glaive Tempest and Unbound Chaos,
Hmm.
so
Interesting.
I think they would be quite strong, especially the I beam. The I beam hitting 5 targets for full damage. Unbound Chaos hitting everything, and Glaive Tempest hitting everything. I don't know. I just think that's gonna be really strong.
Yeah. I could definitely see. Yeah, running both of those would be really good for Mythics Plus. All right, so on to row 7, I believe is where we're at. So isolated prey.
That was a
Uh,
PvP talent.
yeah. So Chaos Nova, I Beam, and Fel Rush gain bonuses when it hits only one target. Chaos Nova increases the stun duration by 2 seconds, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah,
Because yeah, if you pair that with Fel Eruption, you basically get 2 charges of Fel Eruption with that. Uh,
yeah,
I Beam deals 30% increased damage. That's nice to increase the single target, and that actually is going to be good for raiding. That's going to be really good for raiding. Then Fel Rush generates 35 to 45 Fury. That's interesting as well. That's an interesting talent.
excuse me.
There's a lot of different ways to use that, especially in raids. I think that's going to be big in raids. The I Beam and Fel Rush will be really nice. Because I mean, if you can turn Fel Rush into a 35 to 45 Fury generator, that's huge.
It is, yeah.
All right, so Chaos Strike, Relentless Onslaught. So this is a conduit, obviously one of the biggest conduits that you use for single targets. Chaos Strike has an 8% chance to trigger a second Chaos Strike, so that's nice. A real popular conduit for single target. And then this one, this is a must-have, I feel like. Chaotic Transformation. Same ways it works currently in the game. When you activate Metamorphosis, the cooldowns of Blade Dance and I Beam are immediately reset. So again, that's what makes it to where you can I Beam, meta, and I Beam right away again. Huge part
Yeah,
of how the Demon Hunter style play. I would expect that that stays the same, and that's going to be a must-have talent.
yeah,
Pretty much no matter what kind of content you're doing, except maybe PvP doesn't need it, but I feel like you're gonna want it even in PvP.
yeah,
And then there it is. Okay, there it is. So for Havoc, this is gonna be great for Havoc Demon Hunters. Uh, Immolation Aura's Growing Inferno. Immolation Aura's damage increases by 15% each time it deals damage. That's exactly why, as a tank, my Immolation Aura does so much damage. Really hope we see that talent on the tanking tree.
I
um,
I would I would expect to see it, to be honest.
I would expect that it's going to be on there because that's a big part of our damage. For Mythic Plus at least, even for single target, it's honestly really good. Even single target wise, you wouldn't think it is, but it is. And then Glaive Tempest, as we already talked about. Ooh, you choose one. Glaive Tempest
Yeah,
or Fel Barrage. Okay.
yeah.
That's a tough choice for me because I mean Glaive Tempest I think is the way to go, but man,
I think
Fel.
so too.
All right, so two things on Fel Barrage. One, If it still works like it did, where your haste increases the damage of it, Fel Barrage is so great if you stack your haste and time it right. Also, Fel Barrage, in my opinion, is one of the coolest looking abilities in the game.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's one of the reasons I loved it in BFA. Was I stacked all my haste and I would just use Fel Barrage. The 1 minute cooldown works pretty well with your pulls on the higher keys and stuff. Obviously, Glaive Tempest works a little bit better because you can a lot of times get it off twice. However, Fel Barrage doesn't have a Fury cost. Glaive Tempest does, so we'll see. It's going to depend on how it's balanced, but I personally would love to see Fel Barrage make a comeback and be a viable option, because right now it's not a viable option at all. It's super weak, super underwhelming.
I think we should change the cooldown.
I would like to see it as like a 40-second cooldown or maybe a 45-second cooldown. I think that would be a good way to do it. But I personally just love the look and feel of Fel Barrage. I-Beam and Fel Barrage, in my opinion, those two abilities are two of the coolest looking abilities in the game. All right.
Yeah.
On to your next one.
Starting with Essence Break. Oh, man, I'm telling you, this tree is just. It's just looking at. That's how you look at Ragefire. Yeah, I looked at it too. Essence Break. Essence Break does not have a cost anymore. It's just free to use, it looks like. 20 seconds cooldown.
Nice.
Hits everything in front of you, increasing your Chaos Strike and Blade Dance damage by 40% for 6 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That'll go really nice with First Blood and Dancing with Bait and Trail of Ruin.
Yep. Now, real quick, I want you to go into really great depth in this next one.
Oh, the spell not found.
I need more info on that. I want you to go real deep into depth. Explain that ability to me, how that works, what situations it's gonna be used in. Let me look here and see if maybe it's in their list. Was that Essence Break? Yeah, it's just listed as unknown on there. So yeah, they don't. That's like something they have. They got a placeholder there. Who knows? Maybe that's going to be something like Elysian Decree or something along those lines.
So next, you got Restless Hunter. Leave it deep before and grants you a charge of Fel Rush and increases damage for the next Blade Dance with 50%. More Blade Dance damage.
Yeah.
You got Inner Demon. Entering Demon form causes your next Chaos Strike to unleash your Inner Demon, causing it to crash into your target and deal 136% of attack power. Chaos damage to all nearby enemies. That's uncapped AoE damage.
That is definitely going to be nice for Mythic Plus. That looks really cool.
We got Fel Bombardment.
Immolation Aura.
Immolation Aura has damage has a chance to grant you a stack of Fel Bombardment. Increase the damage of the next throw glaive by your primary target by an additional 50%, and launch an additional glaive at nearby target. This effect stacked up to 5 times. So what is that? That's a 250% increased damage for a Fel throw glaive.
Yeah, throw glaive doesn't do that much damage though. So I mean, but it's interesting. It's got its place. I'm sure it actually could be pretty good for PvP. Especially because I imagine where you're going to see a lot of those, the builds with, the double charge of Glaive Toss, where it's going to slow down people and all that stuff. PvP, obviously, movement speed, huge, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Be able to slow people. And then that ability giving it, that ability giving you the option to slow people down with it. Or not slow people, but have that do a lot more damage. I could see that being used in PvP.
Yeah. Alright, last one you saw it already. Ragefire.
Yes.
Each time a militia aura deals critical damage, 50% of the damage delta is gathered as Ragefire. When a militia expires, you slow deal all sort of Ragefire damage to nearby enemies. Uncapped AoE, once again.
I want that as a tank. Oh, good lord, I hope they give me that as a tank. That ability looks amazing. The potential damage from that, I could be wrong, could be completely wrong, but I have a feeling that's going to get nerfed. because I feel like with the right build, that ability right there could be absurd.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think just by what we've seen so far, I think Demon Hunters are the kings of AoE damage right now.
that I mean, we'll see. I definitely I want to play around with that talent calculator later on. We'll run some keys first, probably, but I definitely want to play around with the talent calculator and see what kind of builds I can come up with for AOE,
Right.
because that
Hit us
looks
with
fantastic for AOE though.
that second last row.
All right, so one of my favorite abilities, Cycle of Hatred. Uh, I I love that one. Chaos Strike reduces the cooldown of Eye Beam by 0.5 seconds, and additional 0.5 seconds when it refunds Fury. So really nice ability. And it's got 2 charges, so it's going to be 1 second and 1 second. So but up to a 2-second cooldown reduction if it refunds Fury. So that's nice. Um, Burning Wound. Okay, so we're getting our legendary. Now, I have mixed feelings about it because Burning Wound is very strong, especially if it increases the damage taken from Immolation Aura. Good lord, that build is going to be huge. It's just the only problem with the Burning Wound thing is there's a lot of management and tab targeting going on. Like you're gonna have to constantly be tab targeting. Now, this is a me thing. Other people may not mind it at all. I personally can't stand having to constantly tab target and switch your targets. I don't like it. Not how I like to play. Not my play style. But a lot of people like it, and that increasing damage taken from Immolation Aura by 65%, you pair that up with Rage Fire and all the other Immolation Aura buffs, that could be really, really strong.
Yeah.
And then we have Improved Metamorphosis. The Demon Hunter gains an additional 10% haste during Metamorphosis, 2 charges, so that will stack to 20. That's pretty good. Again, it's something that it's frustrating because I don't feel like that should be a talent, but they're making it a talent, so it is what it is. Because that's just kind of, again, it's kind of baked into Metamorphosis at this point. But you know, it feels like it's kind of a you gotta pick that one really to make your cooldown be strong. But you know, whatever. And then this next one I saw a minute ago, and definitely, yep, you got Elysian Decree, and you can choose between that and Fodder to the Flame, which
Fodder affects PvP.
Okay, I was gonna say Fodder to the Flame. I was like, I don't know of anybody who runs Necro Lord and Havoc or Vengeance for any content as far as PvE type content.
Yeah.
Yeah, no PvP. Okay, that I don't know exactly. I don't even know how this one works. Honestly, I've never really paid attention to that one. But Elysian Decree. If that is an option for Vengeance, then that Elysian Decree is going to be excellent. Really, really hoping that's an option for us because Elysian Decree is a lot of fun. And if you can get Wild Hunt and Elysian Decree,
Yeah.
um,
You talking about
yeah,
Hunt?
yes, the Hunt. Sorry, I always call it Wild Hunt because of
But
you know.
with your main power elixir on it too, with the clone resetting on the Hunt ability is insane.
Yes. Um, yeah, no, getting those two. If we can have Elysian Decree and the Hunt as a Vengeance Demon Hunter, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, so then the last one is Soul Rend. Throw Glaive Toss causes targets to take an additional 60% of damage dealt as chaos over 6 seconds. So that's kind of like your Bloodlet.
Yeah, I saw that when you're about to talk about it. I was like, well, that's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah,
I
so
wish it was a bleed, but gosh damn, there's no how
yeah,
much it can do. There's things that buff it, right? In the tree. Like,
well,
where's the
so it's 60% of whatever your throw glaive target or
let's
damage
do
does.
120.
So
120.
if you take that Fel bombardment, oh yeah, it would be 120. So if you take that Fel bombardment, then Immolation Aura giving you the 5 stacks of throw glaive, makes your throw glaive do 250% to the primary target. And then if that happens, then you're going to be doing a lot more damage to that soul ring. So those are kind of two talents you'd want to build into place together. Definitely could see that being very strong in PvP. I could see that making a real. I don't think you're going to see it much in anything else. But PvP, I think you're looking real strong with those two. Because like I said, I feel like in PvP you're going to use Glaive Toss a lot to slow your opponent. And if it does a bunch of damage too, that's going to be good.
Yeah.
All right, so finish us off with these last three.
Well, two. One's not found.
Yeah, I want good info on that last one.
So first one's Momentum. I'm not happy to see this back, to be honest.
Yeah.
Fel Rush, Glide, the Hunt. Wait,
The
Glide.
Hunt and
Glide though.
what?
That's just activating your wings in the air.
What?
I take that back. If Glide's actually intended to be in this, it would be
What?
really good.
That's interesting. If Glide work, because I mean, we do that naturally, man. We just naturally are hitting that as we're going. That's interesting.
If it's intended, definitely strong.
Now,
Unfortunately,
the Hunt being
you have to
added in that is also nice.
Yeah, the only issue I see is how to get to the momentum build. You have to go through stuff that's not as good as the right hand stuff.
Yeah, well, you got to go through Cycle of Hatred.
You're not getting Raged Fire, you're not getting Unbound or Glaive Tempest.
Yeah.
Like, you have to drop a lot of stuff just to get momentum. I don't think it's worth it right now.
Well, and so it could just be more for single target than AoE, because that left side is definitely a single target side. That's what that left side is to me. Looking at all the abilities they've got on there, it's all about making your Chaos Strike stronger, and giving you Essence Break. So yeah, I think Momentum will be a more of a single target focus. So I don't think it's going to be an issue for Mythic Plus, because I don't think you're going to want it for Mythic Plus anyway.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And then the second last one, Shattered Destiny. The duration of your active demon form is extended by 0.1 seconds per 5 Fury spent.
Ooh.
I'm assuming you can probably get, like...
Does that work with meta?
Yes.
That's going to be interesting. Because, let me tell you, you can spend a lot of Fury real fast. Yeah, so basically what I'm seeing here is... the right side is all about Immolation Aura and empowering Immolation Aura, and which makes me really curious what that spell not found, what that's gonna be.
Yeah.
And then the middle is all about empowering I-Beam. So I think for AoE, you're gonna see a lot of middle and right side talents is what you're gonna take. For like Mythic Plus.
I think so too.
And then raiding, you're going to be more in the middle and the left for Havoc Tree.
I do think no matter what you do, early on the tree, you're going to start with the left and then work to the right.
Yeah, it's just going to depend on just how strong Trail of Ruin ends up being. How strong that dot is. But no, I agree. I think because you're going to want... Let's see. So the only issue I would say is if you're wanting to get the Burning Hatred. Otherwise, yeah, you can start out with Trail of Ruin. I think that the real debate is going to be between Dancing with Fate and Trail of Ruin. But it looks like, I mean, just based off of the percentage, Trail of Ruin is going to do 58, basically 59% damage over 4 seconds. Dancing with Fate's going to do 50% damage immediately. So, I mean, right then and there, Trail of Ruin does 9% more damage. So it's not a huge difference, but it does do 9% more damage. So I think... All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to build... Let's see. There's Trail of Ruin, and then... I'm not going to be taking Vengeful Retreat. Probably not going to take Improved Chaos Strike. Probably going to go with First Blood if we're going Mythic Plus style. don't care about Mortal Dance and Mythic Plus, that'd be a very, very niche build for Mythic Plus.
Yeah.
Fellfire Heart for sure. I think you're taking 2 talents there, and then that leaves us with 3 talents to spend somewhere. So Dancing with Fate, I think, would be great because now you get both of those, so you don't have to choose between the two.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna want Hot Feet just to get that extra charge for Mythic Plus, just for movement speed. It's not a damage increase, but I feel like I would probably take it. I don't really care about the improved Fel Rush. My other question, Burning Hatred, getting the passive Fury, that's nice. I think that's what I would go with. So I'm leaving all the Chaos Strike stuff alone. Don't care about the Chaos Strike, it seems like.
Yeah, I'm using all your Fury and the AoE.
Yeah. So then let's see. All right, and Furious Gaze, you're gonna want Furious Gaze, obviously. I beam critical strikes, so looks can kill. You're gonna want those two. Just hands down, you don't really have a choice. You gotta take those. The Glaive Toss one, Serrated Glaive is possible. I think that's a filler. So if we get to the end here, we got the ones we want, and we have extra talents. I think that's one that we take with those extra talents.
Yeah, I think it pairs really well with bouncing glaives.
Yes, agree. That's what I'm looking at there. All right, so Blind Fury. I think that's a good go getting one. All right, so then Insatiable Hunger or Demon's Blades. So then I guess that's the question. I wonder what's going to be better. I think Insatiable Hunger is going to be probably the main one to go with, because I think the RNG of Demon Blades is just a little wonky. It's nice to have the control over your Fury generation.
Yeah.
But I could see that going either way, honestly. It just depends on what you're doing. But then I think you're definitely taking Unbound Chaos, both charges. Growing Inferno, definitely taking it. Chaotic Transformation, you're definitely taking. And then Glaive Tempest probably is going to be the one to go with. And then that leaves us with 2 points to spend, which again, like we were saying, we have 2 extra points, so going to spend those on my Serrated Glaive. So now we've unlocked the last section. Rage Fire, guaranteed.
Yeah, Rage Fire definitely.
And I think if we're using Serrated Glaive, we're going to be using Glaive Toss quite a bit. So I think then it already makes Fel Bombardment worth taking.
I agree. And Soul Rend.
Yep. And then Inner Demon, I think that's really good also. So Inner Demon is going to be good because that's going to give you passive AoE just from your Chaos Strike using that. Improved Metamorphosis, I think you got to get both of those. Duration of active demon form. Let's see. Elysian Decree. Definitely going to go with Elysian Decree there. And then Shattered Destiny. And we still have one more talent. So, probably at this point, I'd say your last talent is either going to go into whatever that Spell Not Found is. My guess is that's going to be fairly strong. So that's probably where that's going to go. If it's not that great, then I would say Restless Hunter, maybe. Leaving Demon Form grants a charge of Fel Rush and increases the damage of your next blade dance by 50%. It's not that great.
That'd be good if you're on Demonic Origins.
True. But yeah, so I'm guessing that last one, you're going to want that Spell Not Found. So I'm going to put my point in there. And then now let's look at the other side here. Let's reset all of this. So Vengeful Retreat, it looks like you just automatically have Vengeful Retreat. So I don't know why that's part of the talent pool.
You always start with one, so it's a tank.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, so um, maximum fury.
I gotta go with Master of the Glaive if we're going
Yeah,
into
I
the
think
blood
so.
red
I
build.
agree. Yeah, with what we've got on the other side, I think that's what we want. And then bouncing glaives.
Bouncing Glaives for sure.
I think imprison is kind of a must.
Yeah.
Consume
Disrupt
magic
any
is a
magic.
must. Yeah, I think disrupt is important to get.
I'd probably get Unrestrained Fury pretty early on too for Maximum Fury. It's actually
So here's the thing: the Sigil of Flame. If we're going for an AOE build, that Sigil of Flame, it's kind of feels like it's important to get, but it also just doesn't do that much damage. I don't know. I think that's one we'll have to kind of wait and see how it plays out. Um,
yeah.
I think Aura of Pain you got to get because it increases the crit chance of your Immolation Aura because of how integral Immolation Aura is going to be to this build. I think that's one I'm taking.
Yeah.
I don't really care about generating Fury from my Interrupt or my Consume Magic. I could see possibly getting the Interrupt from disrupting, or the Fury from the Interrupt. Consume Magic, I don't use it enough to bother with it, but the Interrupting, I could definitely see that being a possibility.
Alright, now we gotta like a Rope Pursuit or Char Warblades.
Well, we also can get Unrestrained Fury, but I want to look at these next ones. So, I don't care about Concentrated Sigils or Precise Sigils. Spectral Sight, don't care about. The Maximum Health, don't care about. Infernal Armor isn't going to matter much as a DPS. So, we have to pick one of these in order to go. I am thinking...
I think Pursuit goes into the Glaive build. Kind of.
Yeah. I'm also looking at Soul Rend, maybe? Soul Rending. So I would say it's probably between Pursuit, Disrupting Fury, or Consume Magic. I don't... Charred Warblades doesn't seem like there's much of a point to it.
I think if you're going tank, you'll Consume Magic so you get Infernal
Yeah.
Armor.
If for tanking, absolutely, I think. Well, for tanking, I'm going to be probably tanking...
The right end of the tree so far.
Yeah, a lot more of the right-hand tree. Because Sigil of Flame, I'm going to want... I do feel like
That's
for
like a
Mythic
must.
Plus, it just depends, but I feel like Sigil of Misery, you're going to want to grab it, but we can get to that from the other side. I think Sigil of Misery is going to be important to try to get to,
Yeah.
because the utility of that is amazing. But no, so my question, what I'm looking at here is, do we go Disrupting Fury for Soul Rending, or do we go Pursuit for the Felfire Haste to get the movement speed increased from that? So that's kind of what I'm wondering, because the debilitating cuts is only going to be worth it on, like, it's not a must have. It's fine to get, but I think it's only going to be worth it for like necrotic weeks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, also, so I'm thinking Disrupting Fury, because the other stuff we don't have to have. Um, but if we don't get Disrupting Fury, let me test this out real quick. So we can't get Soul Rending, which means we can't get Demonic. And we got it. I think Demonic's a must-have. So I'm saying Disrupting Fury, and then Soul Rending. We also need Rush of Chaos, which actually, let me see here. Okay, so we can unlock that through Rush of Chaos. Okay, so yeah, we could go Pursuit and get Felfire Haste just for the increased movement speed, and then one stack of Illidari Knowledge. So I guess it doesn't really matter, because as long as whatever talent we put it into, we're going to be able to get Rush of Chaos, and that's going to start us off for our middle section there. So let's say actually Unrestrained Fury, Because if we take Unrestrained Fury, that increases your maximum Fury by 10, and then the Rush of Chaos is automatically available. There's nothing to lead into it. So that unlocks most of what we need for that middle section.
Yeah.
So Rush of Chaos, and then do we want Felblade?
I think Felblade's nice. Generates 40 Fury and has a chance to be reset.
Yeah, I
Being a
think
gap closer.
it's a nice. Yes, I agree. It's a nice movement ability, and it also does a lot of damage, or not damage.
Yeah.
Generates Fury.
Yeah. And those fire damage goes into your charred
I
blades
don't.
of healing.
Yeah, and I don't think Infernal Armor is necessary as far as Havoc goes. That's only going to be for tank. But obviously, then now we got Demonic, and I think so. Since this Rush of Chaos makes meta a 4-minute cooldown, is what it's going to do. It's going to make meta a 4-minute cooldown. So then the question is, how good is Demonic going to be? And I think Demonic for AOE. I think the Demonic build is going to be better than Demonic Origins, because we're looking at getting I-Beam, doing tons of damage with I-Beam. So I think having your I-Beam put you in demon form is going to be better than having Metamorphosis on a 3-minute cooldown.
Plus, you can I-Beam into a meta into another I-Beam, correct?
Yes. And also, keep in mind, the duration of your active demon form is going to be extended by 0.1 seconds per 5 Fury spent.
Yeah.
So I think Demonic form is going to be best. I think Demonic Origins is going to be obviously better for PvP. I think it's going to be possibly have its uses in raid. It just depends. All right, so those are we've got our 3 main ones for that middle section. We still have 9 points to spend. So this is where we kind of can pick and choose a bit more and figure out what we want. I do think I would take Infernal Armor at this point. Not to get the armor, but to unlock Sigil of Misery. And then Chaos Nova, I think we have to get. So Soul Rending, and then Chaos Nova. And we still have 3 more points that we can put in. So I think 1 goes to Unrestrained Fury to maximize our Fury, right?
Yeah.
So then here's where we have 2 points left. So I think this is where the question. Well, I think. So I think at this point, probably looking at Sigil of Flame. From a DPS standpoint, I don't see anything else in here that's going to be.
That's good.
Yeah.
What do you got down below?
I've got Chaos Nova, Demonic. So I've got all 3 for row 7. I've got all 3 of those picked.
Okay.
Because I think all 3 of those are huge.
Yeah, I'd take Sigil of Flame for sure.
Yeah, I think Sigil of Flame is the next one to get, because again, it's another AOE ability. And that's what we're looking at. And also, if we have talents left over, which I don't know if we will, but if we have talents left over, getting Sigil of Flame to deal or get to build Fury would also be nice.
Yeah.
So we still have 1 more talent to spend here before we unlock the next section. I'm not really sure where to put it at. I would almost think Shattered Restoration, just to possibly progress towards getting that Flames of Fury. But I also don't know if we're going to get to Flames of Fury. So it might be more beneficial to use either Charred Warblades, Disrupting Fury. To use one of those 2, I think. I don't think Consume Magic, the getting the Fury from Consume Magic, I don't think that's really necessary. I think Disrupting Fury would be more important than Consume Magic. What I'm going to do, though, I'm going to put 1 in Shattered Restoration and then see how much we have left over. Wait a second, that's Sigil of Misery. So actually, I don't want Sigil of Misery. What I want is Sigil of Silence, which we're gonna unlock anyway. So we could put 2 in Shattered Restoration, and then we have that unlocked. Because I don't Sigil of Misery is okay as Havoc, but it's not. It's whatever, and it is a 3-minute cooldown, which is a long cooldown.
Yeah.
Sigil of Silence is a 2-minute cooldown. I think we're definitely taking Sigil of Silence. Darkness is a 5-minute cooldown. Holy cow.
Oh my. That's insane.
I mean, I still think it's a must take, along with Blur. So reducing the cooldown of Darkness by 120 seconds just takes it down to 3 minutes.
Like how it is live.
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna have to do that. I mean,
Yep.
wrong one. Pitch Black. Yeah, so I feel like that's necessary. The Hunt, obviously, we're taking that along with the one that the Elixir for Mythic Plus. That's going to be great for Mythic Plus. So I think you're taking the Hunt and the Elixir. We've got 5 more talent points. So probably going to take Unleash Power to reduce the Chaos Nova cost and the cooldown. Have it up more often. Demonic Appetite, I think, is going to be big. I don't think we're going to care about Desperate Instincts. So then... I don't think we can get to Quicken Sigils. Trying to think, what could we do to get to Quicken Sigils? Anything? I think in order to get to Quicken Sigils, we would have to either leave Darkness as a 5-minute cooldown,
Tragic.
or leave Chaos Nova as a full minute cooldown. Which honestly, that could be doable. But even with Quicken Sigils, that Sigil of Silence is only going to drop to about 1:20. No, 1:40. 1:40, I think, is what it's going to drop to. Because that's 120 seconds. So it's going to reduce it by about 22%. Or 22 seconds. So it's going to be like 1:38 cooldown. I don't know that 22 seconds is worth trying to get to Quicken Sigils anyway, so... I think you're better off making Darkness a 3-minute cooldown, and leaving all your Demonic Appetite. I think is huge for survivability.
Yeah.
Especially if we take Shattered Restoration, I think that's big. I think at this point you could take Sigil of Misery just to have it available. We have one more talent. So I think at this point, Flames of Fury, the one that makes Sigil of Flame generate additional Fury, I think that's probably where I would go.
I agree.
The other option would be reducing your cooldown on Sigil of Misery, I think. But I don't know if that's really worth it. But yeah, I think this right here, at least initially, we'll see what all it looks like when everything is out. But I think this looks like the best Mythic Plus AoE build. And I gotta say, it looks like a lot of fun.
I agree. That's a good time.
Having Elysian Decree and the Wild Hunt, or the Hunt. I always call it the Wild Hunt because of Witcher 3. But yeah, having Elysian Decree and the Hunt, all the stuff with Immolation Aura, having Glaive Tempest and Unbound Chaos. I really like that. And I mean, I almost would go with Fel Barrage just for the sake of having it, because I love Fel Barrage so much, and it kind of gives you some flexibility with your bigger cooldowns.
Yeah.
But man, that's a powerful AoE build, man. Like really powerful AoE build, and like your two big hitting abilities are going to be Elysian Decree and the Hunt, and those two are going to be available. Um, let's see. So Sigil or Elysian Decree is still going to be just a 1 minute cooldown. That would be the only reason to try to get Quicken Sigils would be to get that Elysian Decree down to 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So I guess let me see here what I could do to get that. Sacrifice that Fury. If we just sacrifice Sigil of Flame, maybe. No, because we have to spend that to have that. And then one of those. Blur is a must-have. Just cooldown of that. And that leaves 2 more points, which we could put into what? We don't need. Just make darkness that, and then give our Chaos Nova. I don't think I want that one. I think I'd actually go with Demonic Appetite. Just get a charge of that so it has a chance. Okay, so now I've got a build that gives me Quicken Sigils. So that is going to... The only thing I'm sacrificing really is a little bit less healing from Shattered Souls, but again, not that big of a deal if you're not a tank. And then the Sigil of Flame isn't going to generate Fury, which is whatever. Not a huge deal. I think with this build, though, you've got Elysian Decree available every 40 seconds. You've got your your Hunt available potentially every 30 seconds if you hit 5 targets. Right? Because with the cooldown, it's reduced by 12 seconds. Well, okay, so here's the issue now. I think for Mythic Plus, you're actually going to go with Unnatural Malice. Because I don't see everything dying within 12 seconds of you using the Hunt. Unless you just use it near the end. That's the only issue I see there. Unless you use it when they're all at like 20% health so you can take advantage of it, I think you're better off on Mythic Plus going with Unnatural Malice to increase the dot by 30%. Because you're going to usually use the Hunt at the start, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, I feel like probably for Mythic Plus, you're going to go with Unnatural Malice. But still, you're going to have Elysian Decree. You're going to have on 40 seconds. You're going to have the Hunt at every minute and a half. Then you're going to have your Metamorphosis at 4 minutes. You're going to have your Glaive Tempest and Unbound Chaos. Like, you've got some big damaging abilities there with this build. For AoE, like, this is a really cool looking AoE build. I like this a lot. I really need alpha access, Blizzard, so that I can go and try this out.
Same. There's so much I wanted to try out.
For sure. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. I'm very happy with how that goes. I'm really like, this makes me want to play Havoc and Dragonflight, because the AoE builds just look really cool.
Yeah, you totally could too. You could just see what tank one looks like and decide from there.
let's see here.
I'm torn between Demon Hunter and Monk, but I'm like, why not just play both?
Right? Yeah, no, I'm dude, I want my access so I can try that out because that Havoc build looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm more excited about, having Elysian Decree and the wild and the hunt, or the possibility like I'm looking at this like I really could just run Fel Barrage. And I'm telling you, Fel Barrage, like it may not be the strongest ability, but it is one of my favorite abilities. Just visually, the feel of it, it's great. Because also, so one thing about Fel Barrage is it's channeled, but you can move the whole time. So like Glaive Tempest, let's say you drop it and then the ads run out of the area. They don't take any damage from it. Fel Barrage, you just run with them and you're just absorbing all of their, you aren't really absorbing their health, but it looks like you're absorbing all your health. It looks, so at Fel Barrage, I don't know how much you've used Fel Barrage.
I did back in Legion.
So what it looks like is almost like a Chaos Bolt from a Warlock in reverse. Or like the the Warlock ability where I can't remember what it's called. It's like Demon Fire or something. The one where you channel a bunch of damage to any enemy that has an immolate dot on it.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like that, but in reverse. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah. We should go through more classes sometime. That was fun.
Yeah, that was really, it was a lot of fun. I like that. That's a lot of, oh man, I want my access. I want to play that Havoc. It also makes me excited to see what they're doing for Vengeance.
Yeah, me too.